Hello and welcome back to Queen of Parks podcast. I'm so glad you guys came back. And today we're talking all about EPCOT. Okay, welcome back. So, like I said, tonight I'd really like to just talk about EPCOT. It's probably one of my very favorite parks. At Walt Disney World, I love all the parks. I don't have favorite anythings, but it's definitely up there, and it probably just comes close to like Animal Kingdom, but I still have to go with Epcot. If I think about like where I would want to be, and especially in the evening, it's always going to be Epcot. For one, they have so many unique things that we just don't see at any other park. And then there's tons of wonderful restaurants, lots of festivals that happen throughout the year. There's Run Disney events that happen at Epcot. They have the ball, right? Spaceship Earth. And that is such an iconic thing when you think about Walt Disney World. Transportation, so many cool options of transportation to get there. That's even fun. And then even within the actual park, nighttime shows, the new lighting stuff they have going on. And there's just endless amounts of stuff. And to top it all off, now we have Cosmic Rewind over there from Guardians of the Galaxy, the new indoor coaster experience. We have Space 220. We have so much going on to talk about. So let's get into it. So I think I like to start off with just talking about how you enter the park. You can take a bus to get there, the monorail, depending on where you're coming from, and also the Skyliner, which is my favorite way to go and enter into Epcot. When you take the buses or the monorail, it's going to take you to the main entrance of Epcot, which is called World Celebration now. If you enter via the Skyliner, which is my favorite way to go, it's actually coming from different resorts. There's different connecting stations that you can jump on also to get onto the Skyliner. But the way that you come in on the Skyliner, it takes you over by the World Showcase, which is my favorite part of the park, which is probably another reason why I love entering in that way. That entrance is called the International Gateway, and it does still have just like the main entrance. You're still going to go through security checkpoint. You're still going to be able to rent a stroller, a wheelchair, mobility scooter if you need one. They still have guest relations as well there, but it's all way smaller. So it's not like as big as coming in at World Celebration, which is the main entrance where the monorail and the buses come through. So, and then if you think about it too, like they are constantly moving, but it's more of a trickle of people instead of like mass amounts of people getting off the monorail, mass amounts of people getting off the bus. Like the last time we went, we took the monorail in, and I felt like it was just, you have to do the whole switchback thing, the ramp to get down. And you're just kind of, I don't know. It already felt like I had been at Disney like for 3 hours. I was just like, we're already moving with the herd. It's just a nicer start to the day, in my opinion. So if I haven't convinced you yet, there's more. No, just kidding. I'll let it go now. But anyway, I just wanted to put that out there. If you haven't been to Epcot before, the main entrance, what I was talking about, where you can get in through the buses and the monorail, that main entrance is where Spaceship Earth is, the big golf ball looking thing. And so when you walk into that area and enter, you're going to be coming into a lot of, newly renovated spaces. And it's exciting to see them start to take the walls down. And that has been really lovely going back this last time and starting to see all that again. One thing that I think they did really well is they took sort of like the texture of Spaceship Earth, those angles that when you look at the ball, it's very angled where they put the little lights in and everything. And they've put that on some of the building faces. And that's actually really neat to see over there. But overall, I do personally feel like that whole space, it feels a little cold to me. It just feels a little lacking. There's some really cool things within it. There is a lounge over there, and it looks very well themed, still very modern. You can catch a really good look at it because it is for 21 and over. So if you have younger people in your party, you're not going to be able to go to that lounge. It's called Geo 82, and it's a bar and lounge. When you even just walk past it at night, they have done a wonderful job with the decor. You can see it from just looking in there, and I really want to visit it. I still have one kiddo that's not 21 yet, so we haven't done that yet. But I would like to go back and do it. And even just the lighting fixtures, everything just looks really nice. So that's over there. So if you're traveling with, friends or everybody's 21 and over, definitely try to get in there and have a drink. It looks really nice too where it's located. You're going to be able to see just a lot of the lighting at night and stuff that happens in the area, and I think that would be a really lovely experience. There is the Communicore Plaza. The Communicore Plaza has kind of different uses, the reason that they built it. So it's the outdoor space. Right now they have an Encanto show. They are going to utilize it for like different festival type stuff that happens, which is great. I didn't love it. It felt the issue I had with this. Like at night they have a band playing, which is awesome, and they were great. It feels like it's wedged between two buildings, kind of. It's a wider alley feel, and again, that space is going to be rectangular. They have turf, like artificial turf. They have some tables, and then they have the stage area and stuff. But it's just kind of weird back there. Okay, so you have like massive buildings. You have that kind of wedged in the center. And then over here, like in front of it, it feels very separate though. You have more of a circular kind of garden area with more of a walkway in the middle that you can take photos and hang in. And there's some cool seating, the way that they've built it. At night, there's lots of cool LED, different things that happen back there. But it feels separate from the stage. And listen, I know that they designed it this way on purpose, so I'm not trying to be like what they should have done. But it would have been nice to kind of have that stage more visually accessible to that center beautiful kind of gardeny area. And even if they just push that stage closer to that area, because it just would have felt more of like a community vibe. And I feel like that's what it's missing. It just feels a little cut off. So unless you're walking by, and I noticed people doing it, they had this great band playing that unless you were kind of right over there, you weren't really going to see because of the building structures on either side of it. And I saw people kind of like do a walk by and then little dance and then keep walking. And I was like, if only this was more of a bigger area where we could all, even if we weren't going to be in the mix, kind of seeing it from over here where the cool lighting's happening. I don't know. Anyway, who cares? That's just my opinion about that. But for what it's worth, it would have been nice. And then there is Communicore Hall. This is, again, like a flex space. They have like a show kitchen area where they can do like cooking demo type things. So that'll be interesting to see how they utilize that. They can use it as a festival center. And this is also where they have Mickey and Friends year round. So you can go in there, and it says it right in the building, Mickey and Friends. It is kind of around the corner, so you do kind of need to walk around that building to see that. Like, I think we just happened upon it, and my son wanted to go meet Mickey, so I looked over there. There was zero line. I'm like, let's go. And so we went in there, and Mickey's in there, Minnie was in there, and Goofy. And just a quick little side story about that. This is just me bragging on cast members. He wanted to meet Mickey. We went in there. And they have done beautiful murals on the back walls for where each character is standing. It's a very big open space, but it's separated by where the different characters are. So essentially, when you kind of come up when it's your turn, the cast member, there's a cast member that's like an attendant for the character, and then there's somebody that's going to be taking photographs for you. So you will, if you have Memory Maker, if you purchase PhotoPass as part of your ticket, you can get these photos as part of that. If you didn't, I did not, you can still give them your camera and they're happy to take photos for you as well. They're more than happy to. I mean, these people are picked to do this for a reason. They're wonderful. And so Mickey, okay, now mind you, there wasn't a lot of people in line. So I don't know if it's super busy. I think this experience would be almost the same because at some point there was starting to become more people behind us and nothing changed. My son was talking to Mickey at length and he was telling him about his trains at home, and there's a monorail behind Mickey, the monorail and the EPCOT ball, Spaceship Earth. And, I could see Mickey pointing to the monorail, like, I have a train too, and, all this stuff. And then, I'm standing there and I'm like, I'm becoming more aware that there's like people also waiting to meet Mickey now. So whereas before I was like, whatever, now I'm kind of like, okay, we need to probably like move it along. Like he's, this is great and they're so awesome, but like, obviously there's people waiting now. So I'm kind of like making signs like, okay, like, blah, blah, blah. And the cast members, the attendant and Mickey are just totally chill, like nobody else is waiting. And I'm more like, ooh, let's wrap it up, And then Mickey gives Mason a hug, and Mason's hugging him, and he's hugging him for a while. And I started to be like, this is sweet, but we really need to wrap it up. So I'm like, okay, bud, like, let's meet Goofy next, blah, blah, blah. And I kind of looked at the attendant, and they're like, sometimes you just need a really good hug. And I was like, okay, I'm wrecked. So they were really sweet. And so we moved next to Goofy, and he talked to Goofy for a little bit. And then we moved on to Minnie. And that was really lovely. Like all three of them are great. And he was talking to Minnie for a while. And then Mickey came over, and there were people waiting. I can't tell this story without getting choked up. It's not going to happen. I've tried a few times. Mickey comes over with a note that he wrote. He hand wrote a note for Mason, and he put Mason's name at the top, and I'm a mess already. I hate it. Anyway, I was like this, watching this whole thing go down. And by the end of it, I was like, someone needs to let me leave because I don't want to make an embarrassing mess of myself. So Minnie's hugging Mason, and then I'm like this. So then just trying to be like, oh, it's so nice. But you can see that I am like gonna lose it. So Minnie comes over to me, and then she's hugging me. And I'm like, ugh, I can't do it. Mickey gives me a hug. Minnie gives me a hug. They're like doing the whole circle thing on your shoulder. And I can hear her inside her mask giving me kisses. I was done. I walked out of there, and we met up with my husband and my daughter. And they were like, oh, you guys went in there? And because they disappeared to somewhere. I can't remember where. And they're like, oh, you guys, how was it? Blah, blah, blah. And I was like, I'm a mess right now, and I cannot talk. Please, somebody give me 10 minutes. I'm going to go to the bathroom and just cry in a stall. Is that okay? I'm going to go do that. And I think I went and did that. But anyway, it was a wonderful experience, and I share that because this happens at the parks all the time. It's just one of the reasons that we absolutely love Disney World. Okay, so moving on. That was an amazing thing. So go meet the characters. Don't hesitate. I mean, and that's another thing, like, no matter how old you are, obviously people have different things going on with them. My son has special needs. Adults are just excited to meet Mickey because they grew up watching it and they have, they're just whatever, like anybody else, and they just want to go take a picture with the character. Or you have an adorable baby, who people are like, don't bring your baby. They're never going to bring your baby and go take pictures and go do that if you want to go do that, because you won't regret it. No matter what, it's going to be a magical experience. There's a reason why everybody does it. You're never going to be judged. And it's just such a good, happy vibe. Whoever you are, whatever the circumstance, you're allowed to go meet characters and it's not dumb. So there's your permission card. Go take it and use it and get it punched. So anyway, moving on. There is as well part of that, a very big kind of full glass area that, again, they're going to be using differently depending on what's going on at EPCOT. But when there's not when it's not being used for a festival, there is just a huge kind of seating area, and it's air conditioned. It's huge, and there's lots of different kinds of seating. So there's like comfy chairs, just all like little tables. There's charging stations. There's all different kinds of things. Think like airport, but just extremely nice. There's just a big open space like that. And I was looking in there and I thought, that's a really good sensory space for if you have somebody, including everybody, because really, it could be like, it rains in the summer every day for like a couple of hours, right? Everyone knows that if they go to the parks. About 2 o'clock, somewhere around there, it's going to downpour. It's going to. So sometimes it's hard. Like you see people just like holed up in like a little like bathroom, like hut looking area that's not very big, or a restaurant doorway, or people are just trying to duck out of the rain, gift shops, whatever. This would be a great place to go plan to be in the rain, because you could just go in there, take a little break, scroll on your phone, have a snack. It's air conditioned. You will be dry. You will be comfortable, and then you can head on out. So I think it's a really great space for that. And if you have somebody that has sensory needs and they are getting overwhelmed, or they do need to take a break, again, there's nothing else going on there that people are going to go flooding into this place for. There's not an attraction, a restaurant, a cup of coffee, a beer. Like, just this would be that place that you could go to that's not going to be overwhelming for them. Like my son will escape to the bathroom. Anyone who travels with us knows we have seen every bathroom everywhere we've ever been, in every building, everything, all over the world. You know what I mean? Because guess what? Bathrooms are quiet. You can go in a stall and close the door and get away from everything. So this would be a wonderful, cleaner alternative. You can go sit in there and just have a chill out. And you know what? We all need a sensory break too. I said it to my husband, and he was like, I don't need something, And I'm like, and he's like, well, sometimes it's nice to sit down and just be able to scroll on your phone, because like it gets overwhelming with, just people everywhere and blah, blah, blah. I'm like, that's what that is. So take that word as exactly that. Like, everybody needs a minute sometimes, and this is a great place to take one. So I really think that was a wonderful thing that they added over there, and I'm sure they thought about that too. But anyway, so there's that. And then Connections Cafe. There's a giant eatery, very open, aired. They have this mural on the wall. I feel like I was going to be kind of, I don't know what the word is, downer about it, because I walk in there and I'm like, oh, another like plain, modern, blah, like building. Different foods. I thought that was cool. I thought it was cool that you could see them like kind of preparing the different foods. That was kind of cool. But I felt like it just looks kind of, nondescript. I feel like as we're updating things a lot of times, and I'm looking at you, Downtown Disney Jazz Kitchen. I'm looking at, it's like we take something that is dated, and I do agree needs some like new life, shall we say, breathed into it. And then we just kind of take away some of the charm with that and the character with that. I'm like, can we find a way that, we're updating it and making it fresh and new, but still maintaining some theming? And That's why before I brought up Geo 82, and I didn't even walk in that building, and I know because you can see there's theming going on. There's gorgeous fixtures still. It's still fresh and updated and somewhat modern, but you can see all the texture and the what they've done with it is great. So that's what I'm saying when I'm kind of bringing that up. But you know, the one thing I do before I skip around again is I want to mention the artwork that they have in there, and kind of harkens to a scene at the end of Living with the Land, where they just show different people from around the country, farmers and just all different people, and they've done that in that mural, and I noticed that, and I thought that was really neat. There are really nice bathrooms over in World Celebration, and that is one area where I don't mind if it's just clean white. It's a really big, nice bathroom. So, you know, that's a good thing to remember if you're in that area and you're like, whatever. Then you have Mouse Gears, the updated version of that, which is a giant gift shop. And again, that has been updated. I've been in it obviously before it was updated, and then now I have to say it's tough. I still think this one's nicer, but again, it just feels a little too modern, too plain. I feel like it's almost like the Target effect. I hate to say it because, you know, nobody wants to hear this tangent, but I'm going to share it with you. I got a job at the Disney store because I'm a giant nerd and just wanted to work in the company. That's a true story. I went and did that. So I went back into retail just to be a part of the magic. And doesn't that make you want to vomit? And it's actually true. And our stores closed, and it was all very sad. And I think in total, I don't even know if I got to do a full year there because COVID and then the store closures started happening and all that. I had the best time working there. I just want to say that. And the way that I enjoyed talking to people that came in, we had a lot of park merchandise at our store. It was an outlet. So we had a lot of people, parky people, I'm going to call you. I'm one of them. And they would come in for park merchandise. And I donated my check, I think, every 2 weeks to whatever I could find. We got a lot of Disneyland merchandise, and I'm saying it was like the best deals ever, but it was hard to not buy stuff. But I really enjoyed talking with people that were going to the parks about, you know, where they were going and like, you know, what parks they were going to go to, you know, were they celebrating something and just all that. I just drank that in. I loved it so much. Now, you know, the Disney Store brand, you can still go to stores like at the park, you know, like World of Disney, but the actual Disney stores it's hard to find them. We found them in Tokyo lots. I mean, multiple stores over there. But we really don't have many. You're going to have to travel pretty far to find one. But now they're in Targets, and they did a terrible job. Terrible job. They threw some carpet down. They play the Disney music over there, and I still rock out, don't worry. But when no one's watching and when they are. And they have like a lot of the Disney Store merchandise over there too. But it just makes me sad because stuff's just thrown everywhere. I'm just like the lack of care, you know? And they're missing that element of Disney Store employees. Hello? Target people aren't going to get dorky with you. They're just not. Those people want to go home. Yeah, but it's just kind of, it just feels like that now. I just feel like, you know, a lot of these like makeovers that we're doing to some of our beloved Disney things are just kind of like, you know, that flair is being taken away. So that's kind of sad. But it's a wonderful store otherwise because they have so much stuff and it's huge. And if there's an item that you're trying to hunt down, you probably find it in there. So check that out. It's a really great, well-stocked store that way. And that's all in that front area of the entrance to EPCOT once you get past the ball. So yeah. So World Nature is Natural World Conservation Planets Ecosystems. This is where the land pavilion is. So giant building that houses the two attractions, Living with the Land and Soarin'. And really quick, Soren is going to have an updated experience that's going to kick off on Memorial Day this year. And our good buddy Patrick Warburton is still going to be our flight attendant. And we all love him so much. And he will tell you to buckle up. And you can watch that video. That video is available, so you can actually go watch the video that he does, teasing the Soarin' Across America is what it's going to be called. And I'm excited about this. It's going to be a different experience, new smells. We'll see all the different things that are going to happen. But, they're going to take us through Yellowstone and New York City, Washington, D.C., the Grand Canyon. I'm excited to see all the different things that it does show us, but a lot of the national parks and cities and natural wonders. So that's exciting. So that's happening over there. And then Living with the Land, I love that ride so much. It does not need to be touched. It's perfect. I love the old boats. I love, it's a great ride. And of course, Garden Grill Restaurant is also in this giant pavilion building. So the cool thing about eating at this restaurant, well, first of all, you're going to be able to meet, Chip and Dale, Mickey, Pluto. Those are going to be kind of the characters. But it is a rotating family style character dining experience. And it's going to take you through different parts of the Living with the Land attraction. So you're going to be able to kind of watch. And it's fun when you're on Living with the Land and you kind of look behind you and up and you can see the restaurant windows. So it's a cool experience, for your kiddos and for you to see that while you're eating. It's just kind of cool. And the kind of food that they have over there is going to be like turkey, beef, mac and cheese, stuff like that. So, it's going to be unlimited refills on your beverages, obviously that are, non-alcoholic and, American comfort food. And so, and especially, no matter where you go and eat, for the most part, if you have, a kid that's just like, or an adult that's like pickier, usually there's stuff on the menu that you can order. But here, I feel like you don't really need to worry as much because they're just going to be already offering foods. I feel like that most kiddos and people will eat. So that's what's going on in that building. Moving swiftly on to Living Seas with Nemo and Friends Pavilion. This is where the Finding Nemo attraction is. And it's similar to the attraction that we have at Disneyland, but that one is different just because you're sitting in a different kind of vehicle. Is a really fun attraction that everyone can do. And the queue is super cute. There's lots of like light projections and kind of beachy vibes. So that's super fun. And the wonderful thing about it is, and especially in the summer, is because you're in these pavilions, same as the land pavilion, they're indoors, so you don't have to stand outside. So that's wonderful. It's air conditioned. And then when you get off that ride, there is like, the big aquariums and stuff in there. So you can let the kiddos kind of run around and you can just have a little look at all the different marine life that they have there. And it's very wonderful that way. And then they have a lot of like different things that you guys can go and read together about the marine life, as well as like just a couple of different little activities and stuff that they can do as well. So that's neat. So that's pretty much going to be that over there. Now we're going to talk about the Moana Journey of Water walkthrough trail. I was so excited when I heard that they were going to do a Moana attraction with everyone else, and such an awesome movie and such an awesome character. And then we all heard that it was going to be more of a walkthrough educational experience, and was a little disappointed because was hoping it would be like some kind of a boat ride outdoors, or just I don't even know. I was just hoping for more of an attraction. But after finally getting to go experience it, don't skip it. Even if you think your kids aren't going to be into it, it's actually really cool. My husband said that you can get the same experience just turning on your faucet. That is not true. I think he was just trying to be funny. It's not true. It's a wonderful attraction. They have lots of different kind of educational elements that they've mixed in with it, talking about sustainability, water conservation, all different things. And the way that they've done it it's smart, and it's really, really well done, because I think there is plenty of, hands-on stuff to make all of that a really great balance. So it's not like you're going to walk through and be like, whatever. It's fun to read. We did learn things. I couldn't tell you what I learned now, but in the moment, I learned something, and it was interesting, and it was fun, and it was a wonderful, beautiful trail. And at the very end, you have the very large Tafiti, and she is beautiful, and it's a wonderful spot to take a photo, and we did. So I'll share that on the socials. So don't skip that. It was amazing. And you know what? If it's summer, go walk through that thing a few times. I bet it's busier because you get a little wet. You know what I mean? It's perfect for that. World Discovery. This is our science, technology, and intergalactic adventure area. This is where our brand new Guardians of the Galaxy Cosmic Rewind is, and you have to be 42 inches to ride. So I do want to talk about this ride a little bit, or quite a bit, because A, it was amazing. It was amazing. And from start to finish, like the pre-show with Terry Crews, we love Terry Crews, and he's awesome. Glenn Close, come on. She was great. You have Tal Merrick. And then when you get into kind of like, they kind of corral you, right? You're standing like, they kind of corral you into a large room, and they have that pre-show start. And then they kind of feed you into another room, which is where the kind of the main pre-show happens. And I just want to say there will be spoilers. So if you haven't ridden this yet and you want to be spoiler free, I see you. I appreciate you, because I'm the same way. Just scroll forward, like, I don't know, hit that 30-second forward button like 4 times. I'm probably going to blabber on a little bit about it. This pre-show is so freaking cool. I love watching something. I mean, our technology now for rides, when we get a brand new attraction, it's insane. It's insane what they're doing. And in fact, we rode this as many times as we were able that day. I think we ended up on it like 3 or 4-ish times. It could have been more like 3, I guess. Because the first time you go through this pre-show, and the pre-show's fun anyways, because you're in this incredible space room, and lots of screens, lots of things going on, lots of stuff coming, down from the ceiling and whatever. And it's very, very visually stunning, very immersive. And we get to see some of our actors from Guardians of the Galaxy as well. So Chris Pratt as Star-Lord, Zoe Saldana as Gamora, and then also Drax. What is that guy's name? Dave Bautista. Yeah. Anyway, we love him. They're awesome. They're part of the pre-show too at that point. As you're leaving, you're in this circular room. Again, spoiler. Okay, if you don't want to know this, please fast forward. I hear you. I see you. It's fine. I'm going now. Okay, the wall disappears. Like, it disappeared. Like, you're in a room, and now you're not. It's the craziest thing. You moved nowhere. It's gone. And the first time that happens, it's the craziest thing. And so then you exit, and then you go to like board onto the ride. And after that, I was like, well, we're riding this again, because now I'm looking at the scene. I'm like, what just happened? All that. And so, yeah, then you go into the loading zones and you get on your vehicle. Now, I knew 2 things about this attraction, because again, I'm going to always try to stay away from spoilers. I knew that the carts rotated. So it's a regular like roller coaster when you think of how long, like multiple carts attached kind of thing. And it seats 2 people. So it's like that. But it rotates, right? Your individual car is also going to rotate. So I was like, nervous about that, because straight away I had gone on a ride at Knott's Berry Farm, and it rotated, but like quite a bit. Never felt so sick on a roller coaster before, ever. And I don't get sick on roller coasters, and I don't have what's it called? that people get when they watch 3D things. Motion sickness. I don't really get that. And certainly not from roller coasters. So, but on that ride, it was like the last ride I think we rode that day, and I was so glad because that was it. That was me for the rest of the day. There's no way I would have been on anything else. But so I was a little nervous about that. And then I also heard that there was a reverse launch. So I was also like excited for that, but I was wondering because, my son is not a roller coaster person, although he's been on so many. You can't call them roller coasters or he won't go on them. As long as it doesn't go upside down, he will get on it, and he loves them. But I was a little concerned just because, and he was happy to get on this thing too. He wasn't like, there was no, not nervousness. If you've listened to past episode, I talk about Tron and that whole experience, which he did end up getting on loving. But there was none of that. So I was like in my head a little bit because I was like, well, I hope this isn't crazy. Because sometimes I've listened to different people talk about it, and they're like, well, that was crazy, and I never again, and one time's enough for me. So I was like, okay, well, that's a valid thing that happened to this person. So I was like concerned, right? So it's a reverse launch. We get in there, get on this ride. I was so impressed with this ride. I could not believe how insane the technology was. Just everything that I'm like, how big is this room around me? I'm not going to say his name right, but kind of like the bad guy that is at the beginning of the ride. It's like Eson the Searcher. I don't really know. He's in the Marvel comics, but he's like the main antagonist of the attraction. And he's at the beginning and at the end. Little background on him, just because like I don't really know. I guess I thought he was somebody else that has been in more of the current movies. I can't think of what he's called either. Anyway, he's a giant celestial who is known for destroying a planet with the usage of the Power Stone. You see him, and he's there like over you. I don't know how they did this. It's insane. But this room that you're in on your in your coaster, your cart is swiveling as it's moving, just I think forward and back, or maybe just on a round track. I can't figure it out because you're moving slowly. The cart does move. It does not spin. It moves so that you are looking at what they want you to look at, right? This guy is like over you and is like a star, like celestial thing. It looks insane. And your mouth is just like, you're just staring at this. I was just like overwhelmed. The first time I saw it, I first of all had no idea what to expect, but I was not expecting that. And then it does start and it goes backwards. But I didn't think it was so intense. I've been on some pretty intense roller coasters. I guess like the new one at Epic, so Star Racers. It's not like that. It's not that intense at all. In fact, there's no major drops. It does not go upside down. I mean, first of all, if you have somebody that is in your travel party, big or small, that is very afraid of coasters, but they're interested in this ride, let them watch the ride through so they can see what the experience looks like. But I can tell you that me personally, not having motion sickness and being a coaster person, but I understand the different levels of what that means. Been on lots of different coasters. This one for me, I felt like most people could go on this. And then on top of that, my son loved it and rode it every time we went on it and loved it. So that's saying something too. He is definitely somebody who, won't go touch the Hollywood Tower of Terror, won't even look sideways at Rock and Roller Coaster, stuff like that, but loves Slinky. And now this is more intense than Slinky Dog. I will say that. But anyway, it's a really amazing ride. The technology and the stuff that happens in this ride while you're on it. Once you, I think there's like 4 different songs you could get. Once you get away from that beginning part and they launch you, and then you start to go kind of around and you're dipping and you're circling things. But I don't think there was ever a point. It was just more of a fun party. It felt like you can hear that song playing, in your ears. It feels like a fun fun party. You feel elation, and it never feels like scary or we're going to go down a giant drop or now we're going to be thrown upside down like a pancake. There's none of that. So I definitely, I talk so much about it because I want people to experience it. It's just really fun. So if you find yourself at the park, and maybe do this, maybe do child swap. And if you go on it and you think like, oh, dude, my kid can handle this, or whoever, then definitely make a point to talk to a cast member, and they'll, 99.9%, they're going to be cool and let you get on there with them. So yeah, there's that. And then, and in fact, if you'd like to hear the story, if you're not all done with my stories yet, on my very first episode about the Mickey Halloween party, I talk about Tron, and I have that very thing play out where we were a mess about getting on it and then interested in getting on it. And then there was like a whole bunch of things that happened while we were waiting in line or about to get on it and all that. And the cast members, rock stars, of course, and made that an amazingly positive experience for my son. So check that out if you do have somebody in your family like that, big, small, whatever. So that's that. And the other thing that we did over there was we checked out Space 220. Space 220, I will just say this. It's over by Mission Space, which is another ride over there. I will not get on that ride again. They have a orange and a green. The green being like you shuttling around Earth. It's kind of like a simulator in a way. And then the orange is your mission to Mars, and it's supposed to be much more intense. I would not know, because when I approached that ride, I saw a lady vomiting on the bench in front of it, and I was like, you know what? I really don't want to go on this. I'm going to be a big, brave girl for my family because the kids want to do it. We will be doing the easier one and hoping for the best, because that lady's sick, and I do not want that to be me, and I do not like spinning rides, and I will tell you right now that is a spinning ride. And once was enough for me. It was claustrophobic. It spun like a top, and that was enough for me. I was like, never again. But they did go on it on the orange one, the more intense one. They loved it. Great time. So woohoo. That's awesome. But over there, and at night, that mission to Mars, the big planet in front of that building, a great place to go take photos. It's gorgeous. So right to the right of that the building with the big planet, Mission Space, to the right is the entrance for Space 220. And I point that out, not because I don't think you can find it yourself on the map, but because it is hidden. And we had to walk right over there, and we were like, where is this place? And that's where you check in, right over there. And it's like, I said it reminded me of like, what the heck is that movie? Fifth Element-ish. When they're on like, is it a ship? I don't know. It was just very, like you walked up to give your name and you were just like, it was a little intimidating. I think it's supposed to be, like, not in a bad way, but just a little something. And the kid behind the desk was lovely. I mean, all the cast members are great. But it was one of those situations where I was like questioning whether I had a reservation, and I hope it's there when I asked. You know what I mean? And then you're going to wait a little bit there. And then you're going to walk back. I think they will only let you like check in like, I think 5 minutes or something. So you can't be early, or you're just going to stand there. But you'll see why once you get there. So then they kind of walk you into another kind of holding area, like waiting area. It does have a couch, but it's an awkward situation because it's a big semicircle situation. You're all sitting with people you don't know. So you're just sitting there waiting for the next thing to happen. And then you get into your shuttle that's going to take you to the restaurant because it's in space, right? So you get in there, and there's this whole experience that your kids and me, all the people, I thought it was really cool. And if you just do it once, and I'll give you a little tip about that, but do it at least once, experience it. It's the coolest thing. So they have a launch that takes you in the shuttle, up to space. Don't worry, it's a simulated thing. You're never going to get launched anywhere, but it takes you to space. And then once you get up there, it's very Star Wars with the doors, the way they open and stuff. Very cool. And when that restaurant door opens and you see the giant windows that are showing you space. I mean, I thought this lounge was such a vibe. I thought it was so cool. This is my tip. We reserved lounge area. So there's a bar, and you're in the very exact same restaurant area as everybody else. So when you hear the word lounge, don't be put off. First of all, lounges in Disney World, aside from just a few, your kids can be there. It's child friendly. You're not going to like a bar, right? But the way that this is like the seats literally butt up to the lounge area, to the point where there was a table when we walked over to be seated. And I was like, do you mind? Can we sit at this table? Like I didn't know it wasn't part of the lounge. And she's like, I think that would be fine. Let me just check. And I was like, oh, maybe we're not, whatever. And she came back and she was like, absolutely, yeah, you guys can sit there, blah, 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 status. And we ordered off the lounge menu. The lounge menu there I thought was fantastic. The drinks were great. The food offerings were really good. I mean, we had like little slider. We had like little sliders. We had like some like crispy cauliflower. Like we got like 4 or 5 things, and everything I thought was great. And I do not hear that about the prefix menu. There's going to be a couple of things about this. The prefix menu, it's expensive for one, and you're going to be there for a while. And I hear some complaints about the food. And when I was sitting there nosing around a little bit, just kind of looking around, it didn't look good to me. It's not anything that I would have wanted to order, and I did look at the menu, and I was like, I wouldn't want this right now. Because, when we went in there, there's a time and a place for a sit-down restaurant. You hear me now. I'm not trying to say, like, you want to get in and out. I mean, sometimes you don't, and sometimes we don't. Sometimes we want to sit somewhere for an hour and a half to 2 hours and get out of the craziness and just, have a glass of wine or two with a nice meal that takes that long to eat. So I'm not knocking a sit-down situation, because there's a time and a place. In this situation, we actually did have a return time for an attraction, and we were also trying, I think, to run out and see like the light show or something. So in that situation, we only had like an hour. So the lounge thing was better for us anyway. And when you go somewhere, and if you do have a return time, which obviously being at Walt Disney World or a theme park in general will happen to you, because we're playing that game with the return times, you want to let them know. So when you sit down, do I have time to just get a quick appetizer and a drink, or do I have time to like get a few things? You want to know. So we asked our server. We just like let her know. I'm like, hey, we have this going on. Like, how long does it take food to get out here? Like, do you think we'll have blah blah blah? And she was amazing, of course, because they all are. And she was like, you guys will be fine. I was like, okay, great. So we got like 4 or 5 different things. They were all great. Like I said, a couple of drinks. And then as we were ready to kind of skedaddle out of there, the lady behind me that was sitting behind me kind of tapped me on the shoulder, and she was like, excuse me, like, your guys' food looked great. Like, how did you like get those offerings, whatever? And I was like, oh, book the lounge, because she was eating the prefix. And obviously I didn't like look sideways, but I was like, kind of, they didn't look pleased. Okay. And they had a couple littles with them too. But, and I've heard that from other clients too, that I have booked into that restaurant before I had tried it myself, and they were not thrilled with the food and felt like it was expensive. I think in that particular restaurant, Space 220, personally, I would tell you to go to the lounge. And, even if you want to take a longer break in there, it's not like they're going to kick you out once you have a reservation. So, you can sit there and have a few drinks, whatever. It's not like us where we were like, okay, yeah. But we really enjoyed our time there. I felt very chill when we left. I really liked the environment, the atmosphere, whatever you want to call it, the vibe. It was very chill. I loved the lighting. I really liked just sitting in there. I thought it was a very nice, calming, and very cool experience. And you can only stare at that, out the window so long. But it is gonna also be interesting to like your kids and stuff. Like, that's pretty cool. I mean, they looked pretty legit to me. I thought it was neat. So anyway, then you go back to your elevator, shuttle, whatever you want to call it, and to take you back down to earth so that you can leave. So that's another thing that takes time, right? So you got to check in, wait a little bit, take the thing up, then your restaurant, order, blah, blah, blah. And then you got to, when you're done, get back to earth. So this experience, it's going to take time. So just keep that in mind as well. But I'm not sorry we did it, and I would do it again. So the only other thing in that area would have been for us to go actually do as an attraction would have been Test Track, but for some reason the day that we were there it was down. So I was a bit bummed about that because they have done a major reimagining. So we didn't get to see that. But you know what? We will just have to go back, won't we? So there's that. So, but if you do go, definitely get on Test Track. It's the same attraction, if you will, track as our Cars attraction in California Adventure at Disneyland. So there's Test Track before. I can't speak to the new one, but it's very similar. It will be very similar, regardless of what they change inside. There's stuff that happens inside, right? Testing the car, the tires. There's a whole simulation thing that happens. And they've updated it obviously with new tech and everything now. And then there's a track part at the very end where you really get to test your car and you really go for it. Cars Ride it's the same. It's just a whole different take on that, but it's similar. So if your family has been on that ride, they're going to be fine on this ride. And I would say, by and large, most people are 100% fine that ride. It's very cool. So check that out. Then we have the World Showcase. This is my favorite area of the park. It's all pretty cool, and it's hard to say that now because of Cosmic Rewind. That really leveled that area, and Space 220, and I imagine Geo 82 as well. But World Showcase is unreal, man. It's just such a cool. We love going with the kids. It would be amazing hang with your friends too. And those, the first time we ever went and experienced this, I remember we got this drink in Japan. There's all these, booths throughout the different, World Showcase things. And there you can get, different foods and drinks and stuff as you're walking along. It was delicious. It was so strong. And every time I've ever gotten a drink at World Showcase, it has been that. It has been strong. It has been delicious, but I'm always just like, whoa. So I don't know how people are drinking around the world, genuinely, because I know that's a thing. And it honestly doesn't even, I don't want to say it doesn't sound fun to me. It's not that it doesn't fun to me. I just don't know how you're doing that. I don't know how you're doing that while getting back to your hotel. Their drinks are strong. But anyway, Carpe Diem. And just so you know, I know there's videos out there where people are doing that, and I'm not saying that people don't get whatever. I have never seen that. I mean, I've been a number of times, and your kids are going to be fine in those areas. It's not like you're going to a bar culture area. That's not what it is at all. So don't worry about that. It's not going to be just a bunch of drunk people walking around. It's families for the most part, to be honest with you. And there is also people enjoying themselves, but I never have ever even noticed somebody that I was like, whoa, they were overserved. Never. Only on Instagram. I've seen some photos, but even those people look like they're having a great time. I never see anybody that's just crazy. I'm not saying it doesn't happen. I'm sure people have seen things, but Disney is on it, man. And they take care of stuff. In fact, adjacent, but not the same. So we were walking along in Germany where they have the model train garden. Definitely spend some time over there. It is so amazing what they've done. And it not only is it beautiful over there, but the little model train that you can, all the stuff they've done with that is incredible. So we were kind of walking around there. So you have the lake on one side, and then you have the train and stuff over there. And it's dark right when we were over there. So I noticed, I couldn't really tell, but there was some people standing around, and there was an emergency happening. And very quickly, I just noticed people kind of darting in from all different areas. They weren't running, obviously, but they were going to get over there. And it was really amazing. And I think that whole situation gets cleared up. Like, I think it's okay. I wasn't going to go walk over there, obviously, but the way that they take care of things over there, it's quick. And yeah, don't worry about, you know, that other part of stuff that we were talking about. I think they are more than capable and looking for that sort of thing, knowing that this park is for families. So don't worry about that. But you do and can have drinkies while you're there, and it is fun. And they have so many different versions of that. So right next to the Three Caballeros Grand Fiesta Tour attraction, it looks like a big pyramid. There's a great place to get margaritas. And it's directly right next door, and it's outside. And some people, if you're like, where do you start at EPCOT? Like, where do you start going around the world? People feel very strongly about starting in Mexico, and I understand why. Okay, if we're coming from the main area, I will go left towards Mexico, and I do think that is the choice. I'm not going to disagree with people. But if you come in on the Skyliner from you can either go towards Paris to the right over the bridge, which is a beautiful bridge, and we have done that. It just feels wrong though, unless you're trying to get a ratatouille like early morning situation, and then that's what you're going to do. But otherwise, I really like going left through England, and the gardens and the little like tea house gift shop right there is so cute. You have to walk through there. Oh my gosh, it's so cute. And then Alice can be found right there in that garden a lot. And we love seeing her. And then you can go to Canada and you can walk down the stairs and see the waterfall. And also you can check out Rose and Crown, which is right there. And that is like a British style pub. It's very fun to go in there. And they have a lot of like good British, food. There's so many restaurants. We like to revisit this place because of that. There's so much. It's impossible, obviously, any of these parks to do everything in one day, or one trip rather. But Epcot's just one of those places that you can keep coming back to and trying somewhere new, and it's just so fun. Epcot has a wonderful nighttime show. It's called Luminous, The Symphony of Us. Definitely check that out. It's incredible. It's the current nighttime spectacular. It's in that lagoon, the World Showcase Lagoon, that all the countries are around, that giant body of water there. Just wonderful music, so incredible with the fountains, the lighting, the pyrotechnics, the show itself, 360-degree water-based experience. So you could be standing anywhere around the lagoon. It's not like you have to race to like a certain spot, and you're going to be able to, get a pretty good view of what's going on, which is nice. So you can just enjoy. Japan, people kind of say, because it's elevated and you can have more like panoramic. The front of World Showcase Lagoon between Port of Entry and the World Showcase Plaza has a direct view. There is a bridge that's between France and the UK that I was talking about, and that's good for viewing, but that's one of those areas that's not very big and it's going to fill up fast. The other thing that's nice about standing there, because it is the end of the night, if you are in a hotel that's on that Skyliner loop, that is a good spot to try to nail down, because then you can just go walk right over and get into line on the Skyliner, because the night's over after that. Go home. Go to bed. Put your feet up. You worked hard that day. Yeah, that line does get long. And like I said, that line is going to go quick, but it's still a line, and you've been in lines all day. So that's a good spot to stand for that, because then you can just get over there. And also, little tip for you, go get you a funnel cake or something. Go over to America and get a funnel cake. Go get your little snack, and then go stand over there. Or go stand over there, and then go send somebody, to go get you a snack, so that you can watch the show and have a little, late night snack before y'all head out. And that's fun. The other thing I like about that Skyliner entry point, I know I keep talking about it, is, if you come in off the Skyliner there too, you can also just go walk over to the boardwalk, which also has like a piano bar and a bakery, all different fun things. So you can go there that way, because that's all right there. So yeah, more points for the Skyliner entry. Yeah. So yeah, so they kind of say for the show, similar to the Magic Kingdom nighttime castle show, 45 minutes to 60 minutes, you want to get into your spot. We never do that. We never do that. We never do that. No, we're walking where we're walking, and we're trying to, drain every drop of magic out of that night. And so we kind of just stand wherevs, and we always get a wonderful experience. But, if you want to be organized about it and get the best, viewing experience, then obviously 45 minutes to 60 minutes are kind of saying is the sweet spot. And then that's where it'd be nice to have a sweet tray. You know what I mean? Get your sweet tray and then go stand in your 45 to 60 minute situation. And that will help the time pass if you have a little funnel cake to eat, right? And my last thing I would like to talk about, go on all the attractions. I don't care if your kids are boys or if you're a grown man with your buddies. Go on Frozen Ever After, please. You're going to have a wonderful time, and I don't want to hear about it. And then you can tell me how much you hated it or how it's a dumb girl ride when you get off, because guess what? You're going to be lying to me because you enjoyed it. Go on that ride. Go on Ratatouille. Ratatouille used to have the 3D glasses, so it was giving a lot of people that have motion sickness from 3D rides. That was an issue. I know that was an issue for my husband, and my daughter also didn't like it. She gets a little kind of thing with that. They did away with the glasses, so that won't be an issue anymore. I had a better experience in general anytime we go on rides that, even though they have 3D elements to them built into the animation, you don't need the ride glasses. As soon as I have to put glasses on in a ride, it's like, there's so much of the ride that you don't need glasses for, that you're wearing these dumb glasses so you can't really see. You know what I mean? So I'm so glad they did away with them. That's all I'm trying to say. Yay. But the area, every single area that you're going to walk through in this World Showcase, you're going to be blown away. They have done everything so unreal. And I don't care what restaurant you go in. If something looks good to you, go try it. We've eaten at Morocco. We've eaten at a lot of the places around there. There's a couple I really want to get to that I haven't gotten to yet. We ate at the Creperie in Paris. I mean, all of these places are really good, and you're going to have a wonderful experience. That's all. That's all, you guys. I mean, that's everything I can think of right now that feels important to me that you should know about EPCOT. There are going to be, general information about EPCOT. All right. Frozen Ever After is going to have the new Frozen animatronics for Anna, Elsa, and Kristoff, and they're going to be similar to Hong Kong Disneyland's. All the Frozen rides are blurring for me because we've been on a few of them, but we did go to Hong Kong Disney, and I will come back and talk about that, hopefully with a friend, about our experience over there. And it was top tier, 100% top tier. That whole Frozen area is new for them too. But the animatronics are incredible. And we did have the projection faces on those characters before, and they look amazing. If you're a nerd, you've already kind of looked it up and seen them, but that's coming, and that's going to be wonderful. The Festival of the Arts is currently happening over there right now, if you're going to be going in the next month or so. Food and Wine Festival is in the fall, which is a wonderful time, which is when we were there. And then Festival of the Holidays is going to be your winter festival happening over there, which incredible, right? After hours events coming up, select nights from January 22nd to September 24th from 9:30 to 12:30. So that's different things that's going to be happening that you can look into if you're going to be in that area at that time. I love going to EPCOT at night. If you have really small kiddos, maybe you're not interested in that as much. But if you don't, and especially if you're going with a group of maybe older kids or some friends or whatever, I would definitely look into that. Some of the benefits of going to those after our events, you're going to have your lower wait times on Guardians, Frozen, Ever After, and Remy's Ratatouille Adventure. You have complimentary snacks. You're going to have character meet and greets, and the tickets are going to range from $155 to $179. And your early entry starts at 7 p.m. The official time of the actual party, if you will, or whatever, after our event is going to be 9:30. So you can get in at 7, which is great, but it's going to actually kind of officially start where people are exiting that didn't pay for that at 9:30. So you can get $30 off your ticket if you happen to be a Disney Vacation Club member or an annual pass holder. So yeah. Anyways, I just want to say that I really appreciate I'm gonna keep it short because I feel like I say it every time, but I really mean it. I've had a really wonderful time making these. So if there's something that you're interested in hearing about, we have been to Disney World multiple times. We love it there so much. And obviously, we've been to Disneyland. We're closer to Disneyland a whole bunch. We've been to Paris and Hong Kong and Tokyo more recently. So we have one more to check off. But I love these parks with my whole heart. And it's not just that it's Disney and I'm obsessed with Disney. No, they're when you start going to these parks, there's just so many wonderful, wonderful elements. I don't want people to get put off by like the crowds or that there's just a bunch of Disney adults. There are. We're there. Like we're there. We're wearing all of the merchandise. We have the backpack. We have the spirit jersey. If those words sound foreign to you, you're not one of us crazies. But we're there and we're having a ball and we're fun to be around and we're nice. So be kind. But go and have the best time. You don't need to know everything about a park to have fun too. There's a lot of information out there. I have Cast of Magic Travel. I'm happy to help anybody who needs help booking a trip to these wonderful parks or just getting information about them because it can be overwhelming. It's something that I really enjoy talking about, and I love that I have this space that I can do it in. And if you're a parky people, if you're a parky person, you're welcome here. And even if you're just curious about Disney or you like hearing about it, or you're thinking about going on a trip or you are going on a trip, let me know. Join me over on Instagram on Queen of Parks Podcast. Join me on Facebook as well. And then also Cast the Magic Travel on Instagram and Facebook. I am on YouTube, Queen of Parks Podcast, if you would like to watch the show. And then also, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, and then Good Pods. Pretty much wherever you're listen to your podcast, I'm going to be there, Queen of Parks. So thank you so much for listening. And I hope that when you do listen, you give me a like or you leave a comment. It does help people find me, and I really appreciate it. And again, thank you all for being sweet and watching and listening to the show. And I hope you guys have a magical evening. Thank you.